back to another segment of Behind the Scenes of the Waltons. Today, I wanted to pay tribute of Michael Learned. It is in celebration of her birthday, which is April 9th. So thank you all for joining me as I celebrate Michael Learned. Michael has been such an amazing part of my life ever since the first season of the Waltons. She has been like a mother at times, like a friend at times, like comrade as we got through those long days on the set of the Waltons, particularly in the kitchen. So I consider her just a dear, dear friend. I recently had a chance to spend some time chatting with John Dayton again, our production assistant, and asked him about memories that he might have about Michael and working with her. And so I'm going to share with you our conversation about Michael.
When I first started the show, 72, I think, one of the first people I met was Michael. And I had been working a few days, and I wanted to stay on on the Waltons. And Michael took me aside at the end of one of the days when she was signing out, and she hugged me and she said, "You have a beautiful smile." And she said, that's what we need, is a beautiful smile. So you stick around. Michael was very sensitive. She was a very sensitive woman, and she could be very, very funny, and she could get hurt easily. Her feelings could get hurt. I've told this story before, and Michael will remember. She always remembers. Michael had a scene with Ellen in the garden, and the two of them were planting potatoes, and Ellen had all the words. And Michael didn't say a thing. It upset her. And this was in the middle of her trying to quit smoking. So you knew she could break into tears at any time. We did a reset of the camera, and I went over to Michael. She said to me, "Why did you call me in?" And I said, "Well, it wasn't my decision." And she said, "Well, I'm not doing anything. I'm just on screen. That's it." I said, Michael, a picture is worth 1,000 words. This scene, it's going to be around forever. We're doing a single and a close-up of you reacting to Grandma. You can't pick a single flower without it affecting the furthest star. And she wept. And years later, she said to me, "John, I've never forgotten. Tell me the exact words, because it's what got me through not only that scene, but basically the rest of the show."
Yeah.
I remember when we laid Ellen's ashes at Forest Lawn. I accompanied Michael into the chapel where Ellen's ashes were laid next to her mother's. And Earl had written a scene for Grandma, and he performed it. And I am telling you, Michael started crying, and then I started crying. It's like, I think it was a special time. We held hands as we walked out, and words cannot express what that meant to both Michael and to me. And what a privilege that I got to share that with her. Another thing, there's a lot of fun stuff that happened. There was a scene up in Olivia and John's bedroom. I think it was when she had polio. And so Michael was in bed. The door of the bedroom was closed. We were going really fast. So there were some lines that had to be said on the other side of the bedroom door out in the hallway.
Good night, Jason.
Night, Mama.
Night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Mama.
Night, John Boy.
And our script supervisor, we didn't know where he was. So the director said, well, you just, please, you do this, okay? So I said, okay. So they're rolling, the camera's in the bedroom, and it's looking at the closed door, which is Michael's point of view. And Michael's in bed, right? So I do it, and I do it, and do it. And they open the door from into the bedroom, and there's the camera sitting right there, photographing me. It was my first appearance on the show. Going, what? Wait a minute. But I found out it was all Michael's idea, you know. Put him on film, made me star. Then, you know, personally, we got to be good friends. I would see her often and kept in touch with her. She wanted to know what I was doing, where I was working. Another memory that's dear to me was she always remembered my birthday. And she had invited me to their house for my birthday dinner. And everything was arranged. And that was the darn day that I had an emergency, and they got me in the hospital just quick enough. I mean, they saved my life that day. I was probably under, right? But I called Michael, and John answered the phone. And I must have been like, he must have thought I was drunk or something. I said, I can't come. And John goes, did you know that she spent $700 on a chocolate cake for you? And she bought it, you know, and it really touched me. I felt so bad that I almost died on my birthday. And the thing that bothered me most was that I disappointed Michael.
Oh.
And then, you know, there were times that we were shooting a scene with Michael, and Michael had all these curlers in her hair. Do you remember?
Right. Yeah, she was getting a perm.
She was getting a perm. And I know it. These things must have hurt. They must have hurt her. And the joke was that Ronnie Claire turned there were all these wires, and it was a real one. All these wires going up to each individual curler. And the joke was Ronnie Claire turned it up too high, and it was going to catch Michael's hair on fire. So we didn't know. We didn't have any special effects people, let me tell you. We didn't know how were we going to do this. One of our prop people got some aquarium, that clear aquarium tubes.
Okay.
We fixed them up so there were about half dozen or so tucked into Michael's hair. And so the big idea was he would lay down on the floor, and he had the tube in his mouth, and he would smoke a cigarette and blow in the tube, and the smoke would come out. Well, it's after about 20 takes, poor Michael, who was trying to stop smoking, her hair was like, with all the smoke. You know, I need to watch that episode because I don't think I ever really saw it to see if it worked. And Michael didn't complain.
Wow.
You know, what she should have done was scream and run up to a corner and tear all that stuff out of her hair. You know, Judy, with Michael, there's so much. She's so special in terms of spirit and love. It just was all there, and she shared that with me. How lucky is that, you know? I do dearly, dearly love her and all always will. I don't know. I know, Judy, you feel the same way.
Yeah,
Do you remember the first time you met her?
it would have been first day of shooting season 1. I know the first episode we shot was The Hunt. My guess would be that she worked that first day, and I'm pretty positive we didn't do any kind of we never did table reads with all of us. So it would have just been on set and off we go. Here's your new mom. But she was easy to work with right from the beginning. So I don't remember any particular first impression of her or Ralph. It was just like, okay, these are our new parents and Will, here's our new grandfather, and off you go.
And who would have ever guessed?
Yeah.
I think Michael stole everyone's heart as she played Olivia Walton for all those seasons. I think she has often been certainly in the top of the list of America's favorite moms. And as far as I'm concerned, she's number 1. But there was an evolution to Olivia. In season 1, she was a lot tougher at times, like in The Sinner, when she wouldn't let the children, they couldn't have lemonade and they had to sit there in the house. It was a very hot day. And or in The Carnival, where she was very judgmental. She often was tough certainly about the Baldwins and the recipe and people that she thought were a bad influence. She had opinions. I think some of the original writing of Olivia probably carried over from The Homecoming and the way Olivia was written in that, and the way that Patricia Neal then portrayed her. She was pretty harsh about the Baldwin sisters and that bootleg whiskey there. So Michael has talked about how she sort of fought to soften Olivia up a bit, that she thought maybe she was just a little too harsh, and she felt that she needed to show a bit more compassion at times. And that was certainly a huge part of who Michael really is. So I think that, and, she obviously was a mother herself, 3 young children as she started playing Olivia. So I think that that softer side of Michael was able to be shown through the character of Olivia as the character progressed. And of course, I've talked endlessly about the relationship between Olivia and John, which I think was one of the best couple relationships on TV. Just the love and the humor and the flirtation, and yet the sense of responsibility, the parenting, just fabulous. Loved that couple. Beyond the Waltons, for which she won 3 Emmys as Best Actress in a Drama Series, she won another one just after the Waltons when she starred in Nurse for 2 seasons. So that made a total of 4 Emmys plus Golden Globes and whatnot. So much tremendous work over the course of her career. Let me know what some of your favorite roles were of Michael's. And if you've had a chance to see her on stage, share that with me too. I saw her a number of times, and she's just so brilliant on stage, along with her various different TV appearances and stuff like that. She also started in theater. She had quite a career in theater and was one of the leading actresses at the American Conservatory Theater up in San Francisco, which is what she was doing at the time she auditioned for the role of Olivia Walton. On Broadway, she was in 3 Sisters in October of 1969, The Loves of Anatole in March and April of 1985. The Sisters Rosenzweig was a replacement in 1993-1994, and Gore Vidal's The Best Man, September through December of 2000. Also in theater, she did a national tour of On Golden Pond. She was in Driving Miss Daisy, which I got to see her in, and she was terrific. The Importance of Being Earnest and Private Lives. In real life, I also just remember the times we spent together. I remember dinner parties at her house with a lot of the cast there, or attending some other party at her house where she had a mix of different friends and castmates. And I remember when we were in Marshfield, Missouri, a few years back, we had a chance, the cast members who were there, to celebrate her birthday, because with her birthday being in April and the Cherry Blossom Festival being in April, we took that opportunity to have a dinner and a cake in honor of her birthday. And it was just basically us. So always special those times that we get to spend together as family. I hope you will share with me in wishing Michael Learned a very, very happy birthday. And may she have many, many more ahead of her. And I will see you next time for more behind the scenes of the Waltons, more questions in an Ask Judy, and more special guests. John Walmsley will be with me very shortly. So watch out for that. Thanks for watching.